my name is Ana Guerrero, and for this video, I'm gonna talk about one aspect of cultural identity. The aspect I chose was exceptionality. The reason I chose exceptionality is because I would really like to know how teachers adapt their lesson plan and the activities to include all children regardless of their academic performance, or if they separate kids in different classrooms depending on their abilities. I have never worked in an inclusive or separate environment. Thus, I do not really know how to treat these kids or how to deliver the content. I do not feel comfortable around exceptional kids. Nevertheless, I do recognize that in order to deliver a good content and foremost provide a safe and fun environment, I have to learn how to deal with all types of students. What I expect to get out of this experience is to be comfortable in the working environment. I am really excited to have the opportunity to finally be in the classrooms, and so I would like to be prepared for these situations, because we never know when are we gonna receive special ed kids, or if we're gonna have an inclusive classroom. So we have to be prepared for these situations. And as I mentioned before, I'm not familiarized with this type of kids, and it's not that I dislike them, but I just have never worked with them. I would really like to have a fun learning environment, and I want all kids to feel safe and appreciate the relationships they have with older classmates. I want all my kids to feel comfortable with one another, and I don't want them to make fun of other students or anything like that. So, but in order to do that, and not have a hard time once I am in the school setting, I want to be prepared beforehand. So I interviewed two teachers. The first one is Sister Wu from Mary Help of Christian School. She is a math teacher. She teaches 7th and 8th grade. Her experience with exceptional kids is that she emphasized the fact that as this is a private school, they don't have enough funding to support exceptional kids. She mentioned that they have had kids with dyslexia. They don't really have severe cases, because when severe cases are detected, they usually suggest the parents to send their kids to a public school where they have programs to help them. Sister Wu told me that they don't really have a problem with exceptional kids and bullying. She said that if she sees a case of bullying, they send the students to the assistant principal, and she takes care of those cases, but she addresses the problem individually with the kid. And if it still happens, or if the kid still misbehaves, then she sends him or her to the assistant principal. But she said that they don't usually have a bullying problem towards exceptional kids. And she said that for math, they do have different levels, and she teaches advanced classes, and if she happens to see a student who is struggling with math, then they have different levels. So that's how they adapt their lessons. They separate them into according to their academic level. Usually really smart kids, or kids who have some kind of disability, tend to isolate themselves. That's where you can see if they really have a problem, because you are giving your class and you see this kid that is isolating himself or herself from the rest of the kids. So it catches your attention to think what is going on with this student, right? Why is he or she isolating himself or herself? She said that it is not really difficult to know that a certain student has a learning disability or impairment because of how she or how he reacts to the class. The second teacher I interviewed was Miss Antonia Zavala from Perez Elementary School, and she in fact has a lot more experience with disabled kids, as she worked 3 years for the MLC program, which is the Motivation Learning Center. She worked 3 years in this unit with kids with severe disability problems. They identify the problem since the kid is in first grade or pre-K. They identify the problem, they have their portfolio, they send them to programs, but the program MLC, Motivation Learning Center, this unit works with children with dyslexia or children with bipolar disorder or some other ADHD perhaps. So they work individually with these kids. They give them the special attention they need. But Ms. Zavala emphasized that these kids she thinks that they really need to socialize with their peers, with their regular peers. So she also said that she gives the lecture to the kids, but if she has a student with ADHD or with lower academic achievement level, she usually gathers these kids into a small table and she works individually with them. She gives the whole lecture to the class and then she focuses her attention with these kids. Ms. Zavala mentioned that in fact she had an autistic student, and she said that in the way she managed this student is that autistic kids usually need to be busy and you have to maintain them doing something because they want everything to be perfect, and they need to know what are they doing. They need to know what's next. And she also really emphasized that she was able to make this student pass the STAR tests because this student was in 5th grade and she had never passed the STAR tests. But she said that what she thought that these students were lacking was support from the teachers and the parents. They needed self-confidence. She really noted that these kids really need the teacher to support them and motivate them. What I learned about her experience is that if I happen to have an autistic person or students with disability, it is really important for us teachers or for us future teachers to not segregate these type of students, to give them the attention they need, because at the end of the day, that's what the students need. They need for someone to take care of them, to love them, to be willing to make a change in their lives, and be willing to motivate them and provide them with the tools they need to succeed in life. One last thing that really caught my attention is that Ms. Zavala also told me that To identify a student with a learning impairment or disability, you can see that students, she mentioned as Sister Wu, that students isolate themselves. Putting together the two interviews, what I really got out of this experience is that it really helped me clear my thoughts about exceptional kids and how to address the situations. I can see that in public schools they have a wide variety of programs as the Motivation Learning Center, and they also have the Fundamental Living Skills, which is for more severe problems like Down syndrome or some other severe problems where the teachers know that the kid is not going to be able to learn anything academically speaking. But this program is designed to teach students how to live independently. So I now know that, because I didn't know anything about these federal programs for kids with disabilities, and so. But I think that there's nothing to worry about, because the school system is really complex and really they have a lot of help for teachers, and us as teachers are just in charge of managing the classroom and identifying on time what happens, what the problems of each student, and if he or she has a disability, just to report them and follow the procedures.